Welcome to Court Helicopter, the trending edition, where we are dealing with what is trending. Today, the President and Gachagua are meeting at a funeral in Nyandarua. They are sharing a podium. In between, Kenyans have been told about the will that Gachagua stole property of the deceased's wives and children. In it, Gachagua has defended himself, saying that that is not their position. Gachagua provided the will to the public. Have you read that will? Court Helicopter will bring that will in verbatim, word to word, paragraph to paragraph, for you to make an independent decision. Here we go with the will. The last will and testament of James Nderitu Gachagua. I, James Nderitu Gachagua, born on the 29th July 1953 and currently domiciled and residing at Nairobi under box office number 54702 code 00200 Nairobi, being of sound and disposing mind, memory and understanding, do make, publish, and declare this as my last will and testament into brackets will, and hereby revoke all former wills or testamentary dispositions that have been made by me. For purposes of this will, I declare that I'm married to Margaret Nyokabi Nderitu and Margaret Waidegeni Karungaru, and the term my children shall mean all children born to me and include Susan Kirigo, Mercy Wanjira, Kenneth Gachagua, Jason Kariuki Gachagua, into brackets, born to me by Susan Wanjiru, and Ashton Gachagua, into brackets, born to me by Eva Mukami Gidaiga. Article 1 of the will. I appoint Mwai Madenge, Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, and Njoroge Rigiru, currently residing at Nairobi, and all care of Njoroge Rigiru and Company Advocates of Post Office number 46971, code 00100, to the joint executors of my will and the administrator of my estate. Article 2. I direct that the expenses of my funeral and burial be paid out of my estate in such reasonable amounts as the executor of my will deem proper and fit without unnecessary delay. I hereby authorize the executor of my will to make use of the assets from my estate and make necessary arrangements for payment of my personal debts, obligations, and funeral expenses. Article 3. I direct that all estate and inheritance duty, succession, death, or related expenses and taxes assessed in respect to my estate or any part thereof, or in expenses and taxes in respect of any transfer, transaction made by me during my lifetime, or any other property or interest in property included in my estate, such expenses, duty, and tax be paid out of my residuary estate and shall not be charged to or against any recipient, beneficiary, transferee, or owner of any such property or interest in property bequeathed to the beneficiaries under this will. Article 4. In the event of any of my children predeceasing me, leaving a child or children of their own who shall survive me, I hereby devise and bequeath to such child or children the share of my estate that the parents would have inherited had they survived me. Article 5. I specifically devise and bequeath the following properties as follows. 1. my Langata house developed on the parcel of land registration number LR number 779-20 to my wife Margaret Nyokabi Nderitu to hold in trust for my family. 2. My current house developed on the parcel of land registration number LR 21984-12 to my wife Margaret Wadhi Igeni. 3. My Hiriga house developed on my 4 acres ancestral land registration number Ruluru/Karudhi/1384 to Kenneth Gachagua and Jason Kariuki in equal shares. Number 4. My share in Mwiga Homes Limited to my brother Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua absolutely. Number 5. My house developed on Nyeri Municipality RWK 1/262 to my wife Margaret Waidegeni. Article 6. Save for the properties that I have specifically bequeathed under Article 5 above, I direct the executors of my will and the administrators of my estate to liquidate all the assets and upon settlement of my liabilities distribute the net proceeds in the following manner. A. 10% thereof to Susan Kirigo Nderitu. B. 10% thereof to Mercy Wanjira. C. 10% thereof to Kenneth Gachagua. D. 10% thereof to Jason Kariuki. E. 5% thereof to my mother Kirigo Gachagua into brackets to be held in trust for her by Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua end of brackets. F. 5% thereof to my wife Margaret Nyokabi Nderitu. G. 5% thereof to my wife Margaret Waidegeni. H. 4% thereof to my brother Jackson Ririani Gachagua. I. 5% thereof to my brother Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua. I. 1% thereof to my sister Lilian Wamuyu Wachira. K. 1% thereof to my sister Linda Mudhoni. I. L. 1% thereof to my sister Eunice Nyangari Gachagua. M. 4% thereof to Dr. Fred Wachira Gachagua into bracket deceased, free children who are minors into brackets, the same to be held in trust for them until they are adults by my brother Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua end of brackets. The names of the said minors are Lincoln Gachagua Wachira, Washington Mwadhi Wachira, and Catherine Kirigo Wachira. N. 1% to Dr. Jennifer Gasheka Simons. O. 2% thereof to Susan Wanjiro's son Gachagua into brackets to be held in trust by his mother. P. 5% thereof to Eva Mukami Gidaiga son, that is Ashton Gachagua Nderitu into brackets to be held in trust by the said Eva Mukami Gidaiga. Q. 2% thereof to Dorcas Rigathi. R. 11% thereof to cater for the administrative costs and taxes. S. 3% thereof to all my other brothers and sisters, including James Ririani Gachagua, John Kibara Gachagua, Peterson Wachira Gachagua, Leah Wangari Murioki, and Josephine Wangari Wanjaria. T. The balance of 5% to the executors of my will. H. Parcel of land comprised in the number CR 347-11-1, Section 3 Mainland, North registered in the name of Vipingo Beach Resort. I. Kinagwa Kiangwashi farms comprised in the title numbers Kiine Gasharo 203, registered in the name of James Nderitu Gachagua, cash in bank or owed to me. J. Cash held to the credit of Kithinji Marge and Company Advocates Limited, approximately 200 million shillings in Chase Bank. K. Cash due from me, nil, Wahome, on account of equipment machinery sold to him, it is cancelled. Motor vehicles. I. BMW registration number KBB 001G. M. Mercedes-Benz registration number KR 001B. N. Range Rover registration number KBW 001W. O. Truck Isuzu registration number KBE 909E. P. Audi Quattro 7 registration number KBK 001Y. Q. Toyota Mark registration number KBL 531H. R. Canter registration number KBL 133J. We move on. Shares and stocks. S. Vipingo Beach 8,994 shares as at 16th May 2016, with others shares held in trust for me as more specifically set out in Article 9 below. Article 7. I direct that if any of the above listed beneficiary raises any challenge to the stated mode of distribution, he or she shall be disqualified automatically from inheriting any part of my estate. I repeat, Article 7. I direct that if any of the above listed beneficiaries raises any challenge to the stated mode of distribution, he or she shall be disqualified automatically from inheriting any part of my estate. We take a pause. You have understood Clause 7. Let's proceed. Article 8. My assets include interest in parcels of land, together with developments thereupon, registered in my sole name or jointly with others, parcels of land registered in the names of companies that I own, cash in the bank or owed to me, motor vehicles, and shares and stocks. A. Parcel of land comprised in title number LR number 209/14437, registered in the name of Vipingo Beach Resort Limited and situated in Langata. B. Parcel of land comprised in the title number LR number 779-3/20 into brackets, original number 779-3/3/2 end of bracket, situate in Karen, Kisembe Road and registered in my sole name. C. Parcel of land registration number Nyeri/Lusoi/252 in my sole name. D. Parcel of land comprised in title number 37/256/3 Nairobi IR number 12609/9 in the name of 888 Investments into brackets Kenya Limited. E. Parcel of land comprised in title number 3734/34 into brackets, original number 3734/3/29 into end of brackets, in the name of Vipingo Beach Resort Limited and subject to a charge registered in favor of Equity Bank Limited. F is cancelled. It is parcel of land comprised in the title number Nyeri/Municipality Block 17/1/262, registered in my sole name. He has cancelled it and signed. G. Parcel of land comprised in the title number LR number stroke 380 stroke 9 into brackets, original number 209 stroke 380 stroke 3 stroke 6 end of bracket, registered in my sole name. T. Olive Gardens Limited, 1 share, as at 3rd June 2016, with other shares held in trust for me as more specifically set out in Article 9 below. U. Hard Rock Quarries Limited, with other shares held in trust for me as more specifically set out in Article 9 below. 888 Construction Kenya Limited, with other shares held in trust for me as more specifically set out in Article 9 below. W. Queensgate Serviced Apartments Spa and Resort Limited, 1 share, as at 4th October 2016, with other shares held in trust for me as more specifically set out in Article 9 below. 10, that is X, to list out any other. Article 9. The above noted assets, including the properties held in the name of limited liability companies, belong to me exclusively. I acquire the said assets and properties without any contribution from any person or any of the beneficiaries named herein. The persons named as shareholders in the previous companies have no beneficial interest whatsoever in the said companies, having provided no consideration for the acquisition of any of the shares. Accordingly, the said persons hold the respective shares in trust for me, and they serve as directors on appointment as my nominees. The shares held in trust by my family members and relatives in various companies are as follows. A. Vipingo Beach Limited, 1,000 shares held by Susan Kirigo Nderitu, 1 share held by Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, and 5 shares held by Kenneth Gachagua Nderitu. B. The Olive Garden Limited, 1 share held by Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua Nderitu, 2, 5 shares held by Kenneth Gachagua Nderitu, 3, 59,992 shares held by Hard Rock Quarries Limited, and 1 share held by 888 Construction Kenya Limited. C. Hard Rock Quarries Limited, 944 shares held by Susan Kirigo Nderitu, 50 shares held by Margaret Nyokabi Nderitu, 1 share held by Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, and 5 shares held by Kenneth Gachagua Nderitu. D. 888 Construction Kenya Limited, 1 share held by Susan Kirigo Nderitu, 1 share held by Margaret Nyokabi Nderitu, 1 share held by Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, 5 shares held by Kenneth Gachagua Nderitu, and 992 shares held by Hard Rock Quarries Limited. E. The last one. Queensgate Serviced Apartments Spa and Resort Limited, 1 share held by Susan Kirigo Nderitu, 1 share held by Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, and 5 shares held by Kenneth Gachagua Nderitu. I direct my aforesaid trustees and nominees to facilitate smooth execution of my last wishes by executing the relevant documents and or forms such as the trust deed, transfer forms in black, resignation as director letters, affidavit supporting resignation as directors, and any other such document that may be required under the relevant law. Respective apportionment of the net estate to my nominees and or trustees is subject and conditional upon the execution of the necessary acts to give effect to the object of this will. Should any of the said nominees, and I repeat, should any of the said nominees or trustees fail to execute all such documents and take such action as shall be necessary to give full effect to my wishes as expressed in this my last will and testament, then their bequest, as more specifically set out in Article 6 hereof, shall stand annulled and revoked for all purposes. My nominees and all trustees shall also surrender to the executors of this will all documents in their possession relating to my assets. Article 10. My current liabilities include loans with various banks as listed below, court cases. A. HCC number 276 of 2009, 888 Construction Kenya Company versus Kenya Pipeline Corporation. B. An appeal from the judgment of Honorable Justice G.V. Odunga in HCCC number 186 of 2010, 888 Construction Company Limited. 3. Kenya shillings 10 million shillings due and owing to Dr. Jennifer Gachagua Simons. 4. The sum of Kenya shillings due to Njoroge Regeru and company advocates on account of legal fees, made up as follows. A. High Court of Kenya Nyeri, Election Petition 1 of 2013, consolidated with the petition number 2 of 2013, Dr. Duo Madenga and another versus Nderitu Gachagua and others, together with Court of Appeal of Kenya at Nyeri, Civil Appeal number 29 of 2013, Dr. Duo Madenge and another versus Nderitu Gachagua and others, Kenya shillings 13,900,000 shillings in favor of Wakili Njoroge Regeru. Number 2. B. High Court of Kenya Nairobi, ELC number 963 of 2012, Vipingo PG Limited versus the Attorney General, Kenya shillings 32,525,433 shillings in favor of Wakili Njoroge Regeru. C. HCC number 276 of 2009, 888 Construction Kenya Company versus Kenya Pipeline Corporation, to be agreed upon with the joint executors and in default to be taxed by the court. D. An appeal from the judgment of Honorable Justice G.V. Odunga in HCC number 186 of 2010, 888 Construction Company Limited versus China Petroleum Pipeline Bureau into brackets CPP and Kenya Pipeline Company Limited into brackets KPC, to be agreed upon with the joint executors and in default to be taxed in court. Article 10. For avoidance of doubt, I give, devise, and bequeath the rest, residue, and remainder of my estate, consisting of all property of every nature owned by me before death or acquired by my estate and not effectively disposed of by the preceding provisions of my will, including all property over which I may have the power of appointment to the beneficiaries of my estate in the manner set out in Article 60 and above. Article 11, which is the last one, as used in this will, the masculine, feminine, or neuter gender and the singular or plural numbers shall be deemed to include the others whenever the context so indicates. In witness whereof, I, James Nderitu Gachagua, the Testator, have set my hand and seal to this will, the last will and testament, consisting of 9 typewritten pages, at London, the 17th day of February 2017. His signature is there, James Nderitu Gachagua. The foregoing instrument was signed, published, and declared by James Nderitu Gachagua, the Testator, and for his last will and testament in the presence, and we at this request in this presence and in the presence of each other have thereunto subscribed our names as witnesses on the date and year above written. Leah L.W. Matu, residing at Nairobi or any other place, London. Signature is there. Lydia W. Kinuthia, residing at Nairobi or any other place, London. Her KRA number or passport number A1733096. That marks the end of the will of the late Governor of Nyeri, Nderitu James Nderitu Gachagua. Cotel Copter has brought it to you in verbatim. You now know the law. When we talk about Cotel Copter, is the first one to bring it vocalized version. We will comment in the next episode. This episode was exclusively to bring it to you live from our studio, Cotel Copter News. Trending matters.